I'm one of the executive board members of the quarterback club. We'd like to welcome to the stage at this time, the Cooper Chevrolet stage at the Calhoun County Media Day, the Walter Wellborn Panthers. Wellborn competes in 3A Region 6, and the head coach of the Panthers is Jeff Smith. Today, Coach Smith has brought with him senior tight end Ethan Carroll and senior center Trace Dozer Haynes. Coach Smith, we'll start with your opening comments.
Well, first, thank you for having us here today. The Calhoun County Quarterback Club does such great work. Give out four scholarships every year. I really appreciate it a lot because I had fortunate to have two sons that were able to get quarterback club scholarships, and it really helps out a lot. And the work that y'all do is just very, unselfish, and we sure do appreciate you.
Joe?
Jeff, is this a different kind of year in terms of your personnel, and how do you want to approach things this year?
Every year seems to be a different type of year, and it's funny you mentioned that. I was talking to some of our coaches just the other day, and I feel like we're still putting our team together. We had a really good spring. We were fortunate to get all 10 days outside and had a good spring game down at Faulkner. Then this summer we've had 27 workouts so far, and we've been able to get outside all 27 workouts, believe it or not, with all this rain. But we still feel like we're putting pieces in. I feel like every day we go out there, we seem to be getting a little better.
Coach, I know you also brought a couple of other guys with you. You want to talk about them a little bit?
Well, Ethan here to my right has been a 4-year starter for us, and he plays tight end, defensive end, and Dozier beside me here, well, he's a worker, and he starts at center, and he can play anywhere on our defensive line. But in the back, I brought Kyle Bright. He plays anywhere we want him to on offense. Same thing on defense. He can play linebacker and defensive back. He's a true utility player. And then Raymond Williams plays our will linebacker and our fullback. Of course, us being 3A, all our players, they work on both sides of the ball. We tried our best to platoon, but most of the time we have kids going both ways.
How difficult has it been? You talked about earlier restructuring things and building your team with losing Jabari to Aniston. How has that is that part of the reason why you haven't restructured? Or?
No, that of course, that does, that hurts us, but we wish him well and hope everything goes good for him and everything, but we've got more than just one player on the team. We've got several really good players, and our team's a little different. We've got some kids that are good in different skill positions, and we're trying to get it out there to them a little bit more, and we're just trying to fit all that together without going into specifics what all we're doing. But man, I tell you, we had a good spring and we've had a good summer, and again, the pieces have just fallen into place.
Question for Ethan and those who since y'all are up here. What's your favorite part of the process? From spring to fall and all that in between, what's your favorite part of the process getting ready for the season?
Well, if I had to say, it would probably be being able to really get all the guys together in the off season and be able to really create that bond before the season starts. Really create an environment where everyone trusts everybody, everyone respects everybody. You pick out your leaders and the people who are vocal and the people who lead with their actions, and then you pick out, the people who are there to really put in the work, the guys that are really there to get it done, the guys that are loyal, the guys that want to be there, want to get better, want to have a successful season, and then you get to pick out the ones who are considered rotten apples, the ones that don't want to be there, the ones that are lazy, the ones that whatever. I really enjoy being able to really pick out who wants to be there, who wants to put in the work, and who wants to get better to set ourselves up for the season.
Those are your comments?
It's going off about the same thing Ethan said. It's about to see which one's ready to be there.
And that's a process. I'm going to add to that. The process is, when you start out right after football season, everybody wants to play. And then you go through your winter workouts, and then you get into spring training, and then you get through the summer, and you start getting less and less. And then when you finally get to the season, you get the guys that really care and really want to play, and that's what makes it special. That whole process of getting to the point of football season, that's what I enjoy the most, is developing the young men as we go.
Yeah, I know you always enjoy practice.
Absolutely.
Jeff, talk a little bit about the region. It seems to me that, I mean, we've all seen this region before, but in years past, there was usually one or two teams that you could kind of pencil in at the top and kind of think that they were the ones to beat for the title. But this year, it just doesn't seem like there's any one team that stands out above the others, and it looks like we're going to have some really good games this year.
I think our region is very tough. I really, as far as North Alabama goes, in 3A, it's the toughest 3A region of the 4 regions. Last year, now what I like about it is last year we were in the southern region. Even though we were in a 17 region, we had a lot of travel games. Now, with us being in 19 region, there's only really one trip a year that we'll have to make, and that'll be going to Blount County. This year we'll have to go to JB Pennington. Next year we'll be able to go to Locust Fork. But the rest of the games we'll be playing will be local teams, and of course that makes for local rivalry. And I tell you what, when you can get a local team to come to the Hill and play it on Friday night, that's special, very special.
For both the players, Coach Smith has a reputation of being very demanding. How can you guys tell when you've pleased him, and what does it mean to you to know you've pleased your head coach?
Coach Smith is a very vocal coach. You know, he's not afraid to let us know that we've done good. He's not afraid to let us know that we've messed up. He's a tough coach. He's an old school coach, but I mean, I think that's what a lot of the guys on the team enjoy. We like being able to be told, you know, where we messed up, what we did wrong, so that way we can go to work and perfect our craft and fix, you know, what he believes we're doing wrong. And a lot of times you can't see it. So as a team who, you know, makes mistakes, everyone makes mistakes, but he's a really vocal coach, and he really lets us know what we need to do and when we need to do it, and he's not afraid to let us know that we've done good. So.
About what Ethan said again, I mean, he is not afraid to tell us what we did wrong. It's a good thing though for the team we got. I mean, through the years, since I've been on varsity, it's been a fun years. But he is a very vocal coach, and I think it's good for us.
I'm not near what I was. I just say they just don't know. Now, Coach Odell might know, but I'm not. No, they don't know.
I got a question for both the players. With every season, obviously comes pressure. Now that y'all are both seniors, does that add any extra pressure for y'all to, you know, be the ones the guys look at to lead the team?
Personally, I feel like it actually relieves the pressure because, you know, being moved up as a freshman on varsity, that's a really, not necessarily a scary thing, but it's really a lot of adapting you have to do. And it was definitely a new environment coming up. But the years that I've been here, you know, the guys that I've been with, the examples of leadership that I've had, I think that it's really prepared me for this. And I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity that I've had. And I think it's going to be a really good year.
I mean, I always look forward to it. I mean, since the 9th grade, I always look forward to being a leader. I mean, to me, I feel like I've always been a leader, but my senior year, it's definitely, it's going to be one of the best years, though.
Question here for the players. What game on the schedule, which I know you guys already looked at, but even in the past, when you think, what high schools do you like competing against? You know, is there a team out there you just can't wait for that game? I mean, I know how you address all of them, but is there one school in particular that just matters to you a little more than anybody else?
Personally, I'm stoked, beyond stoked, to play Piedmont, and mostly because of the history that, you know, it's in my family. You know, my brother, he was a part of the team that lost to Piedmont and then beat Piedmont and then lost to him again in the playoffs. So it's exciting for me to be able to go out there and really, you know, redeem what he lost, because I truly believe that there's not anybody on our schedule that can beat us this year. So I'm really excited to get after Piedmont.
Dozier?
To me, it's about every game's about the same to me. I mean, some games I'll play. I mean, one of them I want to play the hardest I can play, each play. I don't want to take no plays off, but I'm looking at every game. I'm gonna play 110% no matter what.
you have a question. Go ahead.
Jeff, year 16, coaching Wellborn, just kind of what's your perspective right now on what it's been to coach your alma mater all this time, and how much longer does this journey go?
I'm very proud of it, and I figured that was going to be the question. But I tell you this, still going into the season, you get that anticipation and that kind of the stress of getting ready for the season to start, and I still feel the same way I have year after year. And I feel like as long as I feel that way, that's what I need to keep doing. Look, I tell you this, I'm very proud that we've been here for 16 years now, and I'm very proud that I can still go out there and work like I work when I'm getting to the age that I am. I think I can still outwork most coaches, and I'm very proud of that.
Jeff, the advantage of the current region is less travel. The disadvantage is that there's 5 teams from California in that region. That means that the most they can get to the playoffs. Somebody's going to be left out.
You're exactly right. I was talking to Mike Pierce this morning. I was talking to him on his radio show. And, you know, with it being a 9-team region, there's only 4 teams that can go to the playoffs. 5 teams will not go to the playoffs. 2 of the 5 teams that won't go to the playoffs, I bet you could make the playoffs in another one of those regions. You know, one year I was, we were down in Montgomery and we were doing our rules clinic and everything. And Coach Benefield from 5 was sitting behind me and he goes, Jeff, he says, how's your schedule look this year? I said, well, Coach, it's tough. And this has been a few years back. He goes, well, you know, that's always tough. He said, that's how we get y'all. He said, because y'all go through such a grueling season, time we get to y'all right there, you know, y'all been wore down pretty good. You know, and that's a ticket. That's what I've tried to do through the last few years, well, really last 5 years or so, is to look at the season not as a sprint, but as a marathon, and try to keep the players as fresh as we can in those later games. And because, you know, it's great to come out of the gate playing strong, but you need to be playing your best football at the end of October and the 1st of November.
Jeff, you've been doing this a long time. I saw in the last couple of weeks where 3 of the top basketball players in the state have transferred to Georgia or other schools because of NIL. You obviously bleed black and white. You're a Wellborn alum. You love your school. You love your community. What are we doing to the game?
I don't know. You know, going back to college football, I'll say this about college football and NIL. You know, they brought it on themselves. You know, years ago, like say in the 50s and the 60s, the players would get laundry money, and they would give them like $20 a week, you know, supposedly to do laundry or take care of just some, you know, going out on a date or something. Okay, well, they cut away the laundry money, and you're on full scholarship, but that pays your tuition, your books, your room, and the place to live. Okay, but then you have no other money, and you're not able to work a job, because now when you sign on for that scholarship, now you're working for the university. Now you call it like it is. You are working for that university, and Saturday's big. And I think if you went back, if they would have kept doing, like say, laundry money and paid the players, and I won't say if it's paid players, but it gave an allowance to the players, say just $100 a week, and that they could actually went out on a date or went and bought a hamburger, I think we wouldn't be in the place we are now. I think a lot of it was greed, and that's where we've got to. And then so, you know, you got a player. I remember a story one time. The principal that was at McAdory when I was with Coach Bowles at Hueytown, he told me that he was the head coach at McAdory at the time. He said that Bo Jackson called him after the game where Bo went over the top against Alabama, and he was back in the dorm room, and he said, Bo, why are you not, you know, out with everybody else? He said, well, I really ain't got no money to do anything. And that kind of, I've always kind of remembered that, is, you know, those players are out there making those millions and millions of dollars and everything, and then they had no private life at all. I think if they would have done that, I don't think we would have got to the place we are in college football now. Now, whatever happens in college football is going to come down to high school football, and now we'll have to deal with it. NIL hadn't passed in Alabama yet, but I'm sure sooner or later it will.
So, going into this season, and we talked earlier, and you talked about building your team. Talk to me about that process. Talk to us about that process of putting that team together.
Well, I mean, everybody's great when there's no pressure applied. You know, you got to get the kids and you got to work them and you got to take them to that age there where they're doing more than what they thought they could do, and then you've got to apply pressure in practice so that when they get in the game and they have a pressure situation, they don't just crack. And that's very hard to do in practice because, you know, everything changes when the lights come on and them stands fill up. But, you know, we got to try to get as close to that as we can. And then, you know, by doing that and seeing how the players will react to those situations, then you can see who needs to be playing where. And look, hey, we might not have this kid on the field, but man, I tell you what, when it gets tough, he bows up, then we need to find somewhere where he can play and help us. And that's what we're doing now. And look, again, it's harder to do that now because, one, we don't have two-a-days anymore like we used to in the old days. All right. Now, what you have to do is you got to start the 1st of June, and you've got to work the kids throughout the summer to make up for not having the two-a-days and the three-a-days that we used to have in August, because you don't get that no more. You get one practice in the afternoon now, and that's about it, because school starts early.
We'll wrap it up here. One more question, and Coach, you give us your closing comments.
Okay.
But this is for the players. Take a minute and share with us what it means to put on that black and white jersey that you've always thought so highly of, and you've got little kids now that first, second, third graders that are looking at you and they want a jersey with 60 on it because Dozier has it. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, since I was a kid, I mean, I've been to Wellborn my whole life. I mean, I've been playing football I've been at Wellborn since I was 3. I was out there with my brother. My dad was a coach. I mean, it's just always been, it's been in the family. My whole family just went to Wellborn. And it's just, when I think about putting on my black helmet, it's tough. I mean, Coach says it all the time, it's class. I mean, it's just, it's something different. Like every other school, they all got their thing. It's just, Wellborn's just different to me. And when you go out there on the field, it's just like a whole different game. And like, I don't know how it is like for other players. I never went to another school, but I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's different.
Kind of piggyback off what Dozier said, it runs deep in my family, and you know, everyone from, you know, my dad's oldest brother all the way up to, you know, my youngest nephew is playing ball at Wellborn, and so Wellborn as a community and as a school itself, it means a lot to me, and it means a lot to my family. But as far as football goes, you know, my team, I mean, my family, you know, it's a family full of athletes and full of football players. And so to be able to, you know, go out there and wear the number that's been worn on several backs of you know, Carroll blood, and to be able to go out there and play knowing that, you know, my dad, my uncle, my brother, you know, they've all played on the same field, it really means a lot to me to be able to step out there and know that I'm a part of a legacy, you know. And I really appreciate the fact that, you know, we haven't up and left, because to a lot of people it's easy to be able to leave. You know, they get all of these, you know, big things, they get all this talk in their ear, and they're like, oh, you know, like, I like the way that sounds, or I like what this team offers, or I like what this coach does. But for me, Wellborn is about family, and it's about loyalty, and it's about wanting to be there, wanting to put in the work, and wanting to be a part of something that makes a difference. And I think that that's what we're doing, and I think that we're on a great track. I think that not just football, but a lot of our athletic programs are on a come up right now, and I think that Wellborn's going to shock the county. But yeah, to put on that black helmet, like Dozier said, it's different, man. You know, you got a lot of teams right here. They're real flashy. You know, they're real fancy. They go out there and they make these big plays. You know, they look good. But we get out there, we get down in the dirt, and we get rough. You know, we're not afraid to go out there and lay a lick on somebody. We're not afraid to go out there and put somebody in the dirt and make them like it. You know, and it's every play. You put them down, you pick them up, and you do it over and over again. And that's what I love about Wellborn, is that you get to go out there. It's controlled aggression, and it's a war with rules. That's what I love, being able to go out on the hill and just get after it.
Coach, I don't know how you're gonna have final comments after that. You're welcome to.
Well, the best time in our school and the community is football season. You know, we have more kids participate during football season than any other time of the year. And I'm not just talking about the football team, I'm talking about a volleyball team, I'm talking about our cheerleaders, and I'm talking about our band. When school starts and football season starts at Wellborn, it's just electric. And it's just a good time to be there. And, you know, everybody's really anticipating the season and excited about it. And we go through football season, and when football season ends, I'm telling you, it's like a death around there. You know, you said this before once, there's no other place that lives and dies harder on Friday night than Wellborn. And that's the way we are. And but now look, I tell you this, I sure appreciate y'all having us here today. This was great. Thank you so much for all y'all do for high school sports. Thank you for the coverage. And look, we're looking forward to this year.
And that's the Wellborn Panthers, folks.